उपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानश्चण्वन्नूदिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ श्रीशङ्कराचार्यस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।
नमस्ते महोदय। लीना मेहुलदामा भगिनी।
अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि।
गुड।
विजयलक्ष्मी आर भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परमं भावमजानन्तः।
not paramam, param bhavamajānantah।
परं भावमजानन्तः ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम्।
I chant the second line again, please.
परं भावमजायन्तः ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम्।
Good.
अनुपमा भट्ट भगिनी।
नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढो यन्नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम्।
मामजमव्ययम् लोको मामजमव्ययम्।
मूढो यन्नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम्।
Okay, good.
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन।
Good.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
द्वेषमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप।
Good.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः।
दृढव्रताः
भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः।
Second line again.
Yes sir. ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः।
I heard a dvanta. It is dvantva.
Sir,
Dvantva.
ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः।
Very good.
Okay.
भानुरेखा भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
जरा मरण मोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये te brahma tat viduh kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakilam.
Second line again.
Te brahma tat viduh kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakilam.
Srimati Bhagini.
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः.
Lakshmi Devi Bhagini.
ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः.
Good. So yesterday we completed this 7th chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. And in the Jnana Vijnana Yoga, we had a very good understanding of Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti of Bhagavan. And he was explaining a lot of things about Para Prakriti as well as Apara Prakriti. And what he wanted is that, he said that if you look at anything, any creation has got two things. One is the Upadana Karana and Nimitta Karana. These two things are there, efficient cause and material cause. Only with that, any creation can take place. So if you look at the entire world of things, it has also got Upadana Karana and Nimitta Karana. And if you look at everything, if you look at a potter is a person who is a Nimitta Karana when he is making the pot, and the clay is the Upadana Karana. But the potter and the clay, they are independent. A potter cannot make the clay. Similarly, then we also discuss about the spider, where the Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana, both of them were from the spider only, but the spider can be away from the web also. So that was to some extent explaining that both the Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana can come from the same source, but the spider, the creator, can also be outside of the spider web at some times. However, the spider web was created by the spider. It can also be dissolved into the spider. That is the second understanding we had. The third understanding we had was about the dream, where the dream, everything is created by the dreamer, everything is sustained in the dream, and everything is dissolved into the dream, and the dreamer and the dream have got to be together. So this slightly better explains in terms of the creation. So Bhagavan says that he is the person who is responsible for the entire creation from the perspective of Nimitta Karana as well as Upadana Karana. And the underlying principle of everything that we see in the universe of materials is all Bhagavan. And then it is also the Bhagavan saying Bhagavan is also staying in every one of us as Chaitanyam. So all these things he was explaining to Arjuna. And he also said that some of the people, Mudo Ayam, Nat Abhijanati, people who are deluded and they are going to be only carried away by the world of things, they fail to recognize my thing, my divinity, whenever they are interacting with the world of things. So those people, they cannot understand. So all those things we saw that yesterday. And finally, he said that Prayana Kalepi Chamam Te Vidur Yukta Chetasaha. He said that at the time when the body is falling, when the person is still at that point in time, he is able to have his dhyana on Lord Krishna, in this case on Ishvara, Vidur Yukta Chetasaha, when they are able to have their own mind completely absorbed in terms of Bhagavan, then they will be the one who will be able to know him. They will not be the people who will not be knowing him. Those people who are continuously thinking of Bhagavan, the reason why Bhagavan has told about this is that at the time of death, many of the people are not going to think of Bhagavan. They have different kinds of thought processes coming into him. But here he said that those kinds of people who are going to be thinking about him at the time of death. That is the kind of highest kind of people, he said. And these kinds of people who have been able to think about him, they reach Bhagavan only. Okay. And in that context, Bhagavan talked yesterday about Adidevam, Adiyajnam, all those kinds of things are there. And he said that I am the governing principle of the gods. I am the governing principles of all the yajnas. And those people who understand me even at time of death will be able to also reach me. That is the way he concluded the last chapter. So if you look at that, the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita was talking about the Tvam principle. And then in this chapter, he is talking about the Tat principle, the Brahman principle, Ishvara principle. And now we'll go to the next chapter, which is called as Akshara Brahma Yoga. I'll open the slides for that. You could see the new one?
Yes, yes, Mahodaya, it's visible.
Okay. So we'll start with this new chapter called Akshara Brahma Yoga. One of the few introductory things I want to give is that the 7th chapter, he started off with that principle. And he ended the 7th chapter with Adibhutam Adiyajnam. So because Bhagavan ended the chapter with Adibhutam Adiyajnam and Prayana Kale, that is, at the time of death, those kinds of words he introduced, Arjuna started interfering with, not interfering, Arjuna had some inquisitive thought and he started asking questions. And in terms of Adibhutam, Adiyajnam, and he started asking a lot more things that he wanted to know. Because of that, the flow that was required in terms of the Tat principle got into slightly a detour in terms of the 8th chapter. So 8th chapter, you'll find it to be a chapter where there is a detour in terms of understanding that principle because some questions are propped up in the mind of Arjuna. Okay, so I'll tell you why, and then we'll go over. Now, if you look at this chapter is called Akshara Brahma Yogam. Akshara means imperishable. Imperishable or the ones that cannot be decayed. If you look at the body, our body is a decayable thing. So this cannot be, it's a kshara. Kshara means anything that can undergo 6 types of modifications. Asti, jayate, vartate, viparinamate, vipakshiyate, nashyati. These are the 6 different modifications that anything can undertake and undergo. And anything that undergo these kinds of modifications, they are called kshara. They are decayable stuff. Our body is a decayable stuff. The entire creation is decayable. Even the stars can collapse. Even the mountains can vanish. So if you look at that way, all these things in the apara prakriti is all called aksharam. They will not be able to have perpetual living. They're all perishable in terms of, they are appearing in terms of time and they will disappear in time. So that is called ksharam. Aksharam is Brahman. Aksharam is the Bhagavan. Ishvara is Aksharam. Aksharam can also be called as Brahman or Ishvara or Bhagavan. They are all Aksharam. They are non-decayable, imperishable, immutable. So all those things, we can define for the Brahman. And the Atma that we have in ourselves also is a kind of Aksharam. Atma does not have any kind of a death. Atma is eternal. So this is going to talk about Akshara Brahma Yoga. And a small introduction about this is that some people also call it as Taraka Mantra Yoga. If you look at the Taraka Mantra is a mantra which is chanted in terms of getting the Taraka Mantra helps a person in terms of crossing over samsara. Samsara is birth and death. What is Taraka Mantra? One of the Taraka Mantra is Om. Chanting Om is going to be a Taraka Mantra. Chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna is a Taraka mantra. Rama Rama Rama, Rama Japa is also a Taraka mantra. So when you look at that way, these are all called Taraka mantras. And Taraka mantras are all done as a Upasana. Upasana means even if you look at some of you are coming for the morning meditation, you will realize that in the morning meditation, there is also a some of the days you start talking about, you will do chanting of Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Because in the last chapter, 6th chapter, we said that when when Arjuna said Chanchalam hi Mana Krishna Pramadi Balavadradam, he was telling about that. My mind is not fixed, my mind is having Chanchalam, it is highly wavering, so I am not able to do dhyana. So Bhagavan, what did he say? He said two things. One is Abhyasam and Vairagyam. Vairagyam is required from the perspective of the world of objects. World of objects, we should not be running after them. We have to understand why we require something. Why but that particular item I need to pursue. That objectivity is there, then you will be able to continuously have a kind of Vairagyam. Any action that you do, you have to look at the results of action that you are pursuing and then understand and then try to objectively look into that. And then objectively, when you do it, Vairagya will be starting to be a part of the individual characteristic. So Vairagyam is one thing. Second thing he told is Abhyasam. Abhyasam means, one of the things he said that in the case of dhyana, you need to have to ensure that your mind does not think of something in the next thought of the mind. You have to determine that. How do we determine the next thought of mind? By ensuring that next 10 minutes, I am going to only chant Rama, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, which means that I do not give an opportunity for the mind to think of something different. I ensure that I am programming my mind to think only on Rama Nama or Hare Krishna, Hare Rama or Om, etc. So that is the way we do the japa. So Upasana is primarily doing that kind of a japa, wherein we are able to have a kind of a Naishchalya of the mind. So this particular chapter will also be talking something about Naishchalya, how to do, bring the mind under control, Naishchalya. And Upasana that Bhagavan is going to talk in length is Omkar Upasana, Om. How that Om is used as Upasana is going to be talked by Bhagavan. He also will be talking about some more Upasanas, which are all the processes by which somebody will be able to attach to their Ishtadevatas or their deities, and then they'll be having a Manasa Upasana, Manasa Karma. They do that chanting, etc. Japa, they do it so that they'll be able to bring the mind under Naishchalya. Absolutely, the mind is brought under full control. So that is what Bhagavan is going to discuss in this chapter. The other thing is that we also had discussed about Nididhyasana in the 6th chapter. Nididhyasana, what we were doing is that in the 6th chapter, we were doing a lot of dhyana. In the dhyana, he told how to prepare for dhyana, how to sit, how to plan your food, how to manage your sleep, all those kinds of things Bhagavan said. But in the case of 6th chapter, primarily, he was telling that whatever you heard in terms of Vedantic teachings, those teachings are called Shravana. You do Manana and Nididhyasana, you do self-inquiry on that. Bhagavan said you do inquiry on that with your mind. That's what Bhagavan said. So if you look at self-inquiry is primarily in terms of understanding the self, which is called as Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman means the Brahma, the reality of the entire thing, which does not have any attributes. Atma has got no attribute. If many of us are asked to straight away start thinking, you please do inquiry on Atma, we find that we are not able to do inquiry because we don't know what is Atma, how to do it. Some amount of learning of this Veda Pramana, you are able to now put your thought, oh, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am eternal, so who am I? So that inquiry comes in. So that is what is called Nididhyasana. So the inquiry is primarily in terms of Nirguna Brahman. Whereas in the case of Upasana, it is a Saguna Brahman. Saguna means you will have a kind of known things in the world. You may have Om as a Omkara, you can do the Aradhana, or Hare Rama, Hare Krishna means you'll be able to relate to Rama and Krishna and do Japa. It's called Saguna Brahma Upasana. So this particular chapter, Saguna Brahma Upasana is given that importance also in some of the shlokas. That is primarily because it is possible for us to anchor our thought process. It's called Alambanam. Alambanam means you are trying to hold on to something and then try to support yourself. So Alambanam, you try to have This japa by doing Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Om, 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 or Rama, 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 etc. That is what we are trying to hold and then do Upasana. So Bhagavan is going to talk about this case of Upasana also. In addition to that, he is going to answer to the answer Arjuna's question about Adibhutam, Adiyajnam. But what Arjuna told is, asked is that instead of only asking only on Adibhutam, Adiyajnam, he asked 7 questions to Bhagavan. So those Bhagavan is going to talk about that. And then Bhagavan also will be talking about Prayana Kala. What is going to happen at the time of death? That also Arjuna is going to ask a question. So Bhagavan is going to talk about that. And then he will also talk at the end of the chapter. Bhagavan will also talk about 2 different ways by which this particular, after the falling of the body, there are 2 different margas that will be taken by the jiva. That also Bhagavan is going to talk. But if you look at that way, if you look at this particular chapter, there's a slight detour from the Tat principle, because Arjuna has now posed a question on these kinds of Adibhutam, Adiyajnam, etc. etc. So this is the preamble I thought I should give it to all of you before we start. Okay, we start now.
Mahodaya. Kashmira Bhagini.
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Ashtamodhyayah Akshara Brahma Yoga.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Ashtamodhyayah Akshara Brahma Yoga.
Yeah, you be here. We'll go to the next one also. Arjuna Buvacha Kintad Brahma Kimatyatmam.
Arjuna Uvacha Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam. Arjuna Uvacha Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam.
King Karma Purushottama.
King Karma Purushottama. King Karma Purushottama.
Kintad Brahma Kimatyatmam. King Karma Purushottama.
Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam. King Karma Purushottama. Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam. King Karma Purushottama.
Good. Next.
Gurumurthy Mahodaya.
Yes, sir.
Adibhutancha Kim Proktam.
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम्
Adidaivam Kimuchyate.
अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधिदैवं किमुच्यते
Adibhutancha Kim Proktam. Adidaivam Kimuchyate.
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Next.
Hey Lalita Bhagini.
Kintad Brahma Kimatyatmam. King Karma Purushottama.
Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam. Kim Karma Purushottama. Kintad Brahma Kimadhyatmam. Kim Karma Purushottama.
Good. Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Adibhutancha Kim Proktam. Adidaivam Kimuchyate.
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं च किं मुच्यते अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Good. Next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bhagini.
First line 2 times.
अर्जुन उवाच किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Good. Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
First line 2 First line 2 times.
कि तद्ब्रह्मं किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम किं तद्ब्रह्मं किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम.
Kim tad Brahma Kim Adhyatmam. It's not
Yes.
Brahmam. Kim tad Brahma Kim Adhyatmam Kim Karma Purushottama.
किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
Second line 2 times.
नमस्ते महोदय.
Namaste.
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Next.
Veena Fanishri Bhagini.
The full shloka once.
नमस्ते महोदय.
Namaste.
किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमम् अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
The first line is Purushottama, not Purushottamam. When you say Purushottama, means you are addressing to Purushottama. Hey Rama, hey Krishna means you address to them. But when you say Im, it becomes the object of discussion. Okay, so you should not say Purushottamam, Purushottama.
पुरुषोत्तम.
Because they are addressing. Arjuna is asking Krishna, is addressing as Purushottama. So you will not address as Purushottamam. When you call Rama, you should say, hey Rama, come here. No, hey Krishna, come here, no? Like that. So when you are addressing, it's Rama, Krishna, Purushottama, like that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next.
Shanti Badri Bhagini.
Second line 2 times. Oh, sorry, full shloka.
अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Next.
Vijayalakshmi R Bhagini.
अर्जुन उवाच किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Next.
Lakshmi Devi Bhagini.
Arjuna uvacha किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमा अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Next.
Bhanureka Bhagini.
किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Good. Take one more person.
Leena Mehuldama Bhagini.
किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते.
Good. So we'll go to next shloka and then take the meanings of 2 shlokas together.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
Adi yajñah katam kotra.
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र
Dehesmin madhusudana.
देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन
Adi yajñah katam kotra. Dehesmin madhusudana.
अधियज्ञः
कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन.
Good. Next.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी.
प्रयाणकाले च कथं
प्रयाणकाले च कथम् प्रयाणकाले च कथम्
ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः
ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः
प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः
प्रयाणकाले च कथम् ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः प्रयाणकाले च कथम् ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
श्रीमती भगिनी.
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन.
Good. Next.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी.
प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः
प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
श्रीलक्ष्मी भगिनी.
First line 2 times.
Yes, sir. अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन.
Second. Next.
गुरुमूर्ति महोदय.
Second line 2 times. Yeah.
प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
हे ललिता भगिनी.
Full shloka once.
Yes, sir. अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
शांति बद्री भगिनी.
2 lines, sir.
Yeah, full shloka.
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Adi yajna. Can you say Adi yajna?
Second line, huh?
First line Adi yajna. I heard. I want you to say Adi yajna. Yajnam.
Adiyajna. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Next.
वीणा फानीश्री भगिनी.
अधियज्ञं कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी.
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
मृणालिनी गोपालन भगिनी.
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Yes. अधियज्ञः कथं गोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Good. One more person.
Charat Chavan Mahodaya.
अभियज्ञकथं गोत्र देहे अस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः.
Deho asmin is okay, but you can say dehe asmin. Okay.
Okay.
A can be lopa, it can be hidden. Okay. So the thing is that last sloka of the previous chapter was Sadi Bhutam Sadi Bhutadi Devam Mam Sadi Yajam Cha Ye Viduhu Prayana Kale Pichamam Te Udayukta Chetataha. Bhagavan said that Adibhutam, the governing principle of the entire Characharam is me. The governing principles on all yajna is me, and those people who have, those people who know that, they are also able to keep me in their jhana at the time of death. That's what he told in the last sloka. So he talked about Sadi Bhutam and then Sadi Yajnam. Sadi Bhutam, Sadi Devam, Sadi Yajnam. Three things only he told in the last sloka of the last chapter. So Arjuna caught on to that. He is now asking, based on that, he is asking some more things also and asking. So he is asking, Arjuna is asking, Kim Tad Brahma? He is asking, what is Tad Brahma? First question. Kim Adhyatmam? What is Adhyatmam? Kim Karma? What is Karma? Then Adibhutam Cha Kim? What is Adibhutam? Adidevam Kim? So Adidevam, five things he has asked here. Tad Brahma, Kim Tad Brahmam? What is that Brahma? What is Adhyatmam? What is Karma? What is Adibhutam? What is Adidevam? He is asking all those things. Kim Tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma, Adibhutam Cha Kim, Adidevam Kim Uchyate. So five things he has asked in this particular sloka. Second sloka, Adiyajnaha Katam Kotra Dehe Asmin Madhusudana. Adiyajnaha Katam Kaha Atra Dehe Asmin Madhusudana. He is asking, Atra Dehe Asmin, in this particular body, who is there when the yajna is performed? Who is the one who is performing yajna? How do I know that? Okay. Adi yajna katam kaha atra dehe asmin Madhusudana. Then the last, these are 6 questions he has asked. See? Tad Brahma, Adhyatmam, Karmam, Adhibhutam, Adidevam, Adiyajna. 6 questions he has asked. Then he also says, you told in the last sloka that at the time of death, it is these people who understand Adidevam, Adibhutam, Adiyajnam, all those things, they will be able to also meditate upon you at the time of their last breath. Then he's asking, Prayana Kale, at the time when the body is going to fall, Khatam, how, Yayosi, how do I able to meditate upon you? How people are able to meditate upon you? Niyatatmavihi, though what kind of preparation, how are they able to manage them in terms of manage with their mind complex, in terms of meditating upon you? He says that you are telling that at the time of death also you have to think about me. At the time of death, when we are going to be in so many other problems, we'll be thinking about many things. How do you expect to meditate upon you at the time of death? So he is asking 6 different things. Plus, how do we think about Narayana or Ishvara or Bhagavan or Brahman at the time of death? So this is the question that Arjuna has asked to Bhagavan. So 6 of those kinds of various things. Tad Kim Tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karmam, Kim Adibhutam, Kim Adidevam, Kim Adiyajnam. So all these things he has asked. And then he is also asking about Prayana Kala. At the time when the body is going to fall, how do we think about you? How do we meditate upon you? So he is asking this question. Now, next.
Vijayalakshmi R. Bhagini.
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमम्
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमम् अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमम्
स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
The thing is Swabhavah Adhyatmam Uchyate. He asked a question what Kim Adhyatmam? Swabhavah Adhyatmam Uchyate. Uchyate means it is called or it is told us. Swabhavah Adhyatmam Uchyate. Swabhavodhyatma Uchyate. Muchyate. Swabhavodhyatma Muchyate.
स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
Good. Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
भूतभावोद्भवकरः
भूतभावोद्भवकरः भूतभावोद्भवकरः
विसर्गकर्म संजितः
विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः
विसर्गः it's not this visargah karma sanjitah.
Shall I repeat, sir?
Yeah, please.
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः.
Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Aksharam brahma paramam स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते.
Bhanureka Bhagini.
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसञ्जितः भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसञ्जितः.
Next.
Krishna Pavani Bhagini.
First line 2 times.
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते.
Good.
Shanti Badri Bhagini.
Second line 2 times.
भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसञ्जितः भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसञ्जितः.
Good. Next.
Gurumurthy Mahodaya.
Two shloka from Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गकर्मसञ्जितः.
Good. Next.
Lakshmi Bibi Bhagini.
Shri.Bhagavanuvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaraha Visargah Karma Sanjitaha.
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः.
Next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bhagini.
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः.
Okay. Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः. विसर्गः
One more person.
संजितः.
K. Lalita Bhagini.
Yes, sir. श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संनितः.
Good. We'll go to the meaning of that. So now Bhagavan is telling. Arjuna asked the question, but now Bhagavan is responding to him. So Arjuna, what did he first ask him? Tad Brahma. He asked first is what is that Brahma? Bhagavan says Aksharam Brahma Paramam. He says that is Aksharam Brahma Paramam, the supreme, which is imperishable, immutable, and non-decayable. That is called Brahma. So the supreme reality with which everything in the universe has got manifested and it has happened, that reality, that creator, that nimitta and upadana karana for everything in this world, and that creator who existed beyond the three kalas, that particular supreme is the Brahman. So Aksharam means imperishable, immutable, non-decayable, supreme is called the Brahma. That is the reality with which, because of it, the entire existence is there. So Aksharam. So Aksharam is, that is immutable, imperishable. That is called Brahma. So yes, Kim Tad Brahma is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Supreme, immutable thing is Brahma. So what Bhagavan has done is he has given very simple answers for these 6 of them and elaborates only on the last one, Prayana Kala. That is the maximum time he takes in this particular chapter. Other 6 things he will very give a brief answer. That's all Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Over. He says that reality, which is the Brahman, that reality is immutable. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So anything that cannot be decayed, anything that cannot be perished is all Aksharam. That is Aksharam Brahman, imperishable Brahma. Kim Tad Brahma, Aksharam is Brahma. Then Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate. Brahma Swabhavaha Adhyatma Muchyate. So that Brahman is there. That Brahman, that is the reality because of which everything is existing, and that is existing in the self. That particular Swabhavaha, existence in the self, is called Adhyatmam. Adhyatmam is, no, we call Atma. Atma is that Aham Brahmasmi. That Brahmasmi is Adhyatmam. Here he is telling Adhyatmam because this Atma word is normally used in Sanskrit in different meanings. For mind also, sometimes in the earlier chapters you would have seen, in some times mind is also called Atma, Buddhi is also called as Atma. In the case of Taittiriya Upanishad, it starts off with Atma being the body itself. Then they will say that body cannot be Atma. They first start off body is Atma. Then because of so and so factors, body is not Atma. Then they'll say Sukshma Sarira is Atma. Then they'll do a lot of things and then say mind is also not Atma. So that is the way they will start revealing Atma Swarupa in the case of Taittiriya Upanishad. So here, the Adhyatmam is that inner Atma, which is not in any way body or the mind, such kind of complexes. So Atma could have been just sufficient because Atma has been very, very loosely used at different slokas in different meanings like mind and buddhi and all those kinds of things. He is telling that that inner Atma is Adhyatma, the inner self, the inner Brahman in every one of you. Aham Brahmasmi, when we say that Brahma is that Adhyatmam. Then karma. So yes, kim tad Brahma, kim Adhyatmam, he has told. Then next kim karma. What is karma? Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha, karma sanjitaha visargaha. What is happening is that Bhagavan, karma can be defined in Karma Yoga. We have discussed a lot of things about karma, the kinds of karmas that we do. But Bhagavan, in this particular case, what he says karma is that Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karaha. It is the creation of beings, of the living beings, is Visargaha in the entire universe based on karma, Sanchita karma, karma sanjita, based on sanjita karma, creation of the various beings is what is called karma. Now, what happens is that when the body falls, then the jiva continues. Jiva does not have a kind of a death. Jiva continues even though the body falls. Then, if you look at the entire thing, there will be a lot of jivas which will not have a body. So, assigning a kind of specific body and then starting the body with certain kinds of prarabdha karma, based on the sanjita karma that is there in the account of that jivatma, is what is karma. That's what Bhagavan says here. Bhuva, bhuta, bhava, udbhava karaha, karma sanjita visargaha. That is what he says of karma. So karma in his case, what Bhagavan says here is that he is not talking about kayika karma, manasa karma and all. He is telling that the creation is karma. The creation of, actually creation is an action. If you look at the entire creation is only an action. If a potter is producing a pot, it's a creation, it's an action. But God has created the entire universe, it's a creation, it's an action. So creating the beings based on their sanchita karmas, and then the jivas assigned to those sanchita karmas and given a kind of body, that is what is karma, Bhagavan says in this shloka, because he is now talking at a very, very high level. Okay. Next.
Shanti Badri Bagni.
Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha.
Adibhutam sharo bhavaha. Adibhutam sharo bhavaha.
Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha.
Adibhutam sharo bhavaha. Adibhutam sharo bhavaha.
There's a subtle difference between Shankara and Kshama, Kshetra. That K will be added. K-S-H-A, Ksha. So this is to be pronounced with that Ksha. Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Okay. Purushachati Daivatam.
Purushachati Daivatam. Purushachati Daivatam.
Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Purushachadi Daivatam.
Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Purushachati Daivatam. Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. Purushachati Daivatam.
Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
Adiyajnohamevatra.
Adiyajnohamevatra. Adiyajnohamevatra. Dehe अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृताम्बर।
Once again.
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतात्वर।
Okay.
भृतम्बर.
Next.
लीना मेहुल्लामा भगिनी
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषच्चादिदैवतम्।
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्। अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्।
Next.
भानुरेखा भगिनी
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर।
आदियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतावर। आदियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतावर।
Next.
मृणालिनी गोपालन भगिनी
First line two times.
Okay. अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्। अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्।
Next.
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी
Second line two times.
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर।
Good. Next.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी
Full shloka once.
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषच्छाधिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतावर।
Good. Next.
काश्मीरा भगिनी
Full shloka.
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर।
Good. Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभूतां वर।
देहभृतां वर.
देहे देहभूतां वर।
Okay.
लक्ष्मी बेबी भगिनी
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतावर।
Good. Next.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर।
Good. Next.
के ललिता भगिनी
Yes, sir. अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर।
Good. Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषच्छादिदैवतम्। अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृताम्बर
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतावर.
You know the meaning of this shloka. In the earlier shloka, he said that Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavot Adhyatmam Uchyate. Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. So Adhyatma, he says Aksharam. The Atma that is there in every one of us is Aksharam, he said. Then here, Adibhutam Ksharobhavaha. So now what happens is that if you look at that, if you, in the entire beings, whatever is subjected to decay and decline or mutation is called Adibhutam. Okay, that is also a governing principle of that is only Bhagavan. But this body is supposed to undergo these six-fold changes, and six-fold changes also means Asti Jayate Vartate, then Nashyati, it is also going to get fallen off. So that is Ksharobhavaha. The entire this portion of the body, which is not only body, anything that is capable of getting decayed over time and which is getting muted or which is perishable is called Adibhutam. Okay, so Adibhutam is subject to Kshara, subject to mutation, subject to over a period of time, those things will decay and die. That is all Adibhutam. Of course, that is also a bhava of the Bhagavan only. If you look at that way, Bhagavan has told in the earlier thing, Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti is all me only. So we cannot say this body is not Bhagavan. Body is also supposed to be Bhagavan only. But this is the decaying portion of the Prakriti. Purusha Adidaivatam. Purusha means the cosmic Purusha. We'll be talking about that in 15th chapter. It's called Purushottama Yoga. We'll be talking a lot of things about cosmic person. He's also called Hiranyagarbha. And the cosmic person, the divinity of that person, he is the Adidaivam. Purushaha Adidaivam. Adidaivatam is saying that. So he is explaining that anything that is going to, all the living beings, those things that is going to have a decay and death is all Adibhutam. And the cosmic personality, the cosmic being is the divinity is that Purushaha. Adi yajnaha aham eva atra dehe. He says that the one that is doing yajna in this particular body is me only. Please understand that, Arjuna. Varaha means the exalted person living in your body with Arjuna. Understand that the indweller is the person who is going to be, I am the one who is the indweller, and I am the one who is doing the yajna. Adi yajnaha aham eva atra. Now you may remember one shloka that we studied in the first chapter. Brahmarpanam brahma havi brahmatno brahmanahutam brahmaivatena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. You remember that? So we say, Bhagavan in that time in the yajna itself, he said, Brahma Arpanam, what is being given, the ladle that we use, the ahuri that we use, the person who is doing it, the person who is taking it, it's all me. In that yajna, he told in the fourth chapter, Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havihi. So that is what he's telling. I am the Adi Yajnaha Aham Eva. I am the only person. In this body, as a indweller, I am the person who is the giver and receiver of yajnas. Okay, that's what he is now telling. He's just giving explanation to these 6 questions out of 7 questions of Arjuna, which came as an offshoot of the last shloka of the previous chapter. And subsequently, he'll talk about the Prayana Kalam, that is what happened to his body at the time of falling, which we shall take it up from tomorrow. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Ashtamodhyayah Akshara Brahma Yogaha. Arjuna Uvacha Kintad Brahma Kimatyatmam Kim Karma Purushottama Adibhutancha Kim Proktam Adidhaivam Kimuchyate Adiyajnah Katam Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudhana प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्म संजितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषच्छादिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वर ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति